It's funny, isn't it? We're surrounded by this obsession with keeping up, the next big thing, the newest tech. Everyone wants to get rich quick.
Right.
But then you've got Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
billionaire and investing legend, lives pretty simply in Omaha,
Yeah.
and he barely uses a computer,
Yeah.
but his track record is
It's
unbelievable.
amazing, isn't it?
So what did he figure out that maybe we haven't?
That's the question, right?
That's what we're diving into today. We found this interview from the 80s, Adam Smith's Money World. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Buffett really lays out his whole philosophy. And it's shocking how relevant it still is today.
It really is. Some things just hold up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're right. Buffett's not trying to time the market. He's not into chasing fads.
Right.
His whole thing is value investing, a term he actually got from his mentor, Benjamin Graham.
I've got to admit, value investing, it always sounded a little vague to me.
Really?
Like, yeah, of course, everyone wants a good deal, right?
Right. But it's more than that.
Oh.
Think about it like this. Say you're trying to buy a house and you want to find an amazing house, but one that's undervalued.
Okay.
Maybe the neighborhood's going through a bit of a rough patch, but you can see the potential.
I see.
That's kind of what Buffett does with companies. He finds the ones with the really strong fundamentals,
Okay.
the ones that the market is undervaluing, and then he waits, sometimes years, for that value to be recognized.
So it really is about patience.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you said, ignoring that temptation to jump in and out of the market with every little thing that happens.
Exactly. He actually said he would be happy if the stock market closed for a few years.
Wow.
That's how much he believes in playing the long game.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me, I remember when I first started investing.
Yeah. You have a story.
Well, let's just say I didn't get this whole patience thing.
Oh, okay.
I got totally caught up in this one tech stock, thought it was going straight to the moon,
Yeah.
put way more money in than I should have, ignored all the warning signs.
Oof. Been there.
It crashed.
Yeah.
And burned. Yeah. And I lost a good chunk of my savings. Harsh lesson. But it really drove Buffett's point home.
Yeah.
Emotions, they are the enemy of good investing.
And he really lived that.
Oh, he did?
The interview is full of stories about how he turned a relatively small amount of money into a fortune.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
Take his early partnership, for instance.
Yeah?
People who invested $10,000 with him back in the 50s,
Yeah.
they ended up with millions.
Millions.
Millions. Or Berkshire Hathaway, for example.
Okay.
He bought it when it was a struggling textile business.
And turned it into this massive holding company. Right?
Exactly. A holding company, it's basically like a parent company.
Right.
Owns a bunch of other businesses.
Right.
And through Berkshire, Buffett's made these really smart investments. Companies like the Washington Post, Capital Cities.
Wow. Which were home runs, right, in terms of the return.
Total home runs.
It's amazing. It's like this sixth sense or something for spotting the hidden gems that everyone else is overlooking.
Well, he'd say it's not a sixth sense at all.
Okay.
It's about really understanding the true value of a business.
Yeah.
And not just the financials,
Yeah.
but the quality of the management.
Oh, right.
Right, the strength of its brand,
Yeah.
the long-term potential.
That reminds me, he said this other thing in the interview, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said that it's better to buy a fantastic company at a fair price than just an okay company at a fantastic price.
That is a great point.
Right?
And he actually illustrates this with how he acquired See's Candies.
See's Candies, okay. Not exactly the first thing you think of when you think tech, right?
Yeah.
But hey, I do love their chocolate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's classic Buffett. He's not looking for the next big thing, the flashy thing.
Yeah, yeah.
He's looking for businesses that are like oak trees. Strong, reliable, they're built to last.
Right.
See's Candies, they have that loyal customer base, a really consistent track record.
Yeah.
He saw the real intrinsic value of that brand, and he went for it.
Smart. And that's what I find so interesting about him.
Yeah.
It's not just about like, oh, pick the right stock.
Right.
He seems to see the value in things that other people miss.
Absolutely. And that extends to his management style, too.
Oh, how so?
He's famous for having this hands-off approach
Yeah.
with the companies Berkshire Hathaway owns.
Right. He finds these great businesses with passionate leaders and then just kind of lets them do their thing.
Exactly. He said he looks for managers who tap dance to work.
I love that.
People who are so enthusiastic about their businesses, they don't need to be micromanaged.
Right, makes sense.
Think about it. Who's going to run a business better?
Yeah.
Someone who's passionate or
Mhm.
someone who's just there for the paycheck?
Give me the tap dancer every time.
Exactly.
And that story about Nebraska Furniture Mart,
Oh, yeah.
he didn't just buy a business, he bought into a whole legacy.
He really did.
Hmm.
He was so impressed by the owner, Mrs. B,
Hmm.
her work ethic, her dedication to customers.
Yeah.
He saw that her leadership was a huge part of what made that business so successful.
Sounds like he really values integrity
Oh,
as
absolutely.
much as he values a good business.
You see it in his whole approach to wealth, too.
Oh, really?
This is where things get interesting.
Okay.
So he's obviously incredibly wealthy,
Right.
but he's spoken out against leaving huge fortunes to his kids. He's compared inherited wealth to a lifetime supply of food stamps.
Wow. That's quite the analogy. What do you make of that?
It's definitely provocative,
Yeah.
but I think what he's saying is that giving someone a fortune can actually be a disservice.
Interesting.
It can really stifle their ambition, their drive to make their own way.
It's like he's saying real success is about the journey,
Yeah,
the struggle, not just the end result.
exactly. And it's clear he's instilled those values in his own children.
You think so?
They're successful, but they've made their own paths,
Yeah.
pursued their passions. They haven't just been coasting on the family fortune.
It makes you think how much of what we could achieve
Yeah,
we miss out on when we rely too much on other people.
right.
And I know not everyone has, like, Buffett's money or whatever,
Right.
but the idea still applies, you know?
Totally. It's about owning your own path,
Yeah,
your wins and losses.
exactly. And it goes back to his investment style, too.
It does.
It's a long game,
It is.
building something that lasts, something you believe in,
Absolutely.
and doing your research right,
Oh, yeah. Super important.
knowing what you're getting into.
For sure.
Whether it's a stock or a business or even just like, a relationship with someone.
Any decision you make, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Being thoughtful about it.
Right.
Not just jumping in without thinking it through.
So for someone listening right now
You're-
who maybe doesn't have millions of dollars to invest,
Right.
what's the takeaway here?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, how can they use what Warren Buffett does
Right.
in their own life?
Well, I think it comes down to a few things.
Okay.
Patience. That's a big one.
Okay.
Anything good in life takes time.
Mhm.
Your job, relationships, investments. It all takes patience and persistence to really get somewhere.
It's like delaying gratification.
Yeah,
You're playing the long game.
exactly. And that's not always easy,
No, it's not.
but it's usually worth it.
I like that.
The second thing, don't be afraid to be different.
Okay.
Buffett, he's not afraid to go against the grain.
Yeah.
He trusts his gut, his process.
And he's done all right for himself.
He has. And lastly, never stop learning.
Always be learning.
Buffett's always reading, researching,
Yeah.
trying to expand what he knows. That's how he stays ahead.
It's funny because it all seems so simple when you lay it out like that.
It does, doesn't it?
But so few people actually do it.
Easy to get caught up in all the noise,
Right.
the hype, all the fear of missing out.
To-
Buffett reminds us that sometimes the best thing you can do is just block all that out.
Yeah.
Focus on what really matters.
So if there's one thing you hope people take away from this whole deep dive,
Yeah.
what would it be?
You don't have to be a billionaire to think like one.
I like that.
Buffett's ideas, they're for everyone.
They are.
It's about seeing the value, being patient, taking the long view.
I love it. Well said. And on that note, folks, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the mind of Warren Buffett.
This has been fun.
It has. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.